a slightly unusual episode of Gearless. It's a kind of gearless carpool crossover because I got to drive this incredible Mini last year. This is not an ordinary Mini, as you can see, it's an electric Mini Cooper. It's not the one made by BMW. This was converted by one of the engineers who used to work on Scrappy, a guy called Hadrian Spooner. It's a really cool car, and he built it for one of his clients. Look at the stuff they've got in this car. It is awe-inspiring. Yes, please welcome Steve Brooks' Electric Mini.
Now, what do I do? Lordy.
Oh, we're away, are we? Well, just turn the key.
I don't need to put my foot on the brake or
No,
anything
no,
like
no,
that.
no. Just turn the
Turn
key.
the key.
And the car is now on.
So now it's on.
That should be in park.
Oh, I see. That's.
So it says.
Good afternoon.
Yes. So it's an afternoon already. It is this afternoon. There we go.
D.
So the switch is just park in the middle, reverse or forwards. And
Right.
what we've tried to do is, if we're going to go to the next generation of car, we're trying to simplify the whole driving experience as well. Get rid of gear sticks, get rid of
you don't
clutches.
need gear sticks, do you? And there's no clutch.
There isn't a clutch. No,
That's good.
no, it's just on or off.
How long have you had it?
I've been driving it for about 3 months now.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So it is still quite a. Ooh. And it makes a noise. I like that noise. Oh my lord!
It's a slight
Because we're-
Back to the Future.
Yeah. And it's got regen. It does do regen braking and all that. I mean, it's.
Well, if you look
can
at the
see it
screen
there.
here, you can see what's going on the screen there. So when
Right.
when you pull away, zero's at the top. When you pull away,
It goes
you'll
down
see
that
how
way.
much power you're using,
Right.
and the needle will change colour from white to red as you put more power.
And is this your system?
Yes, we've built that.
That
now.
is beautiful.
Well, it's very important. If you're going to have an electric car, you've got to have some feedback. We're living in an
Yeah.
information age. It's all about information,
Yeah.
and there's not much noise coming from the engine.
No.
You can't rev it. So you need to know a lot more of what's going on.
Yes. And that now at the moment we're cruising at what just over 30. And
Yes.
it's virtually not doing anything.
You're
It's using-
pulling about 2 to 3 kilowatts, so you're pulling the same as a blow heater right now.
Wow.
You're doing 30 miles an hour through London using the same power as a blow heater.
Right.
And now you've taken your foot off, now you've got
so
5
now if I
kilowatts.
do floor it.
Yeah, if you put your foot down, now you're pulling 50 kilowatts,
Right. So
which
that's
is
quite,
good fun.
That's quite a lot.
And yeah, but that's fine. That doesn't matter. And now look how green
And
it's
that- right,
gone now.
yeah.
Now you're recharging at 20 kilowatts.
Right.
If it was completely empty, it takes about 4 or 5 hours to recharge.
Right.
So I plug it in. Yeah, I think you've got to change your mentality with electric cars.
Yeah.
It's a bit like our mobile phones. Do you remember when they first came out? We were forever having a flat battery.
Yeah, all the time.
But what you learn now is that every night you plug your mobile
Yeah.
phone in, whether you need to or not.
Yes.
So you always leave home with a full battery.
Yeah.
And on that basis, this has got about a 60 mile, 70 mile range. So I don't need to think, where am I going today? How am I going to plug in? I know I can go anywhere.
Anywhere in London, really. Can you?
Why
Yeah.
don't we pop to Heathrow now? Why don't we go out now? Seriously,
Okay.
let's go to Heathrow. and we haven't got to worry. Do you know what I
Right,
mean? We
yeah.
can go to Heathrow and we can come back. We haven't got to worry, do we have to plug in when we
Right.
get to Heathrow?
Yes. Yes.
We can just go there.
Right.
And the average journey in the UK is 8
Oh,
miles.
it is, isn't it? It's nothing. Yeah.
And 93% of journeys in the UK are less than 25 miles.
Right.
93%.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a hell of a lot. What it is that it's the constantness of the torque, isn't it? I think that's what everyone who drives electric cars for the first time comments on, is that you start pulling away and there's everyone's used to that, that
Yes.
change of gear.
Yes.
Which there isn't any. It just keeps going at the same acceleration.
Yes, we built this car with a gearbox, so it's got a full gearbox
Right.
in there.
Right.
Having driven it around for a while, what we've discovered is that we don't need a gearbox, because
No.
if you get out on the open road, you'll find you can go from this speed to 100 miles an hour
Right.
without a gear stick.
Right. Wow. What was your initial impetus to get a Mini and convert it to an electric one?
I think my wife suggests to me, if I'm going to keep doing expeditions, I should do something greener and get more stuck in, and she was very right.
Yeah.
So we've done lots of research, and over the years it became more and more obvious to us that the guy that is well ahead of everything is a chap called Nikola Tesla,
Right.
who at the turn of the century invented electricity, was the first guy to send electricity down a power cable 100 miles, lit a town,
Right.
invented the television screen.
Wow.
You know, he's probably
Bit of a clever fellow. Wasn't he?
he's to my mind the biggest genius that we've
Right.
ever had.
Wow.
And his concept of electricity is just genius. So instead of all these cars that we can see around us have got 25% efficient engines
Yeah.
in, and what we realised is that we were never going to get there using those engines, as the engine in here is 95% efficient.
Right. Which presumably, I bet he knew.
He knew. Oh yeah, he knew. 100
years
years
ago.
ago, he'd worked all this out.
Wow.
He was a bright boy.
But I mean, whenever people do, I have these constant conversations on Twitter,
Yes.
which is a big mistake, and it's my own fault, and I'm asking for it. But there's that thing of, well, what about how long does it take to charge them, and what about the carbon that's used to make the electricity, and all those arguments. And I do respond to them.
Yeah.
People have learnt now. If I jab him with a carbon question, he'll respond, and I do. But I mean, it is the end argument comes down to you buy a gallon of petrol, and 75% of that is wasted keeping the engine cool.
Yeah.
In the grinding of the gears and all the mechanics that go to running that engine, you're wasting 75% of it.
Absolutely. Well, let's see how you're doing. Press that button there.
Okay.
So you are doing 143 miles to the gallon equivalent, 142 miles to the gallon
Right.
equivalent you're doing at the moment.
Wow.
So if we had put if we'd used a gallon of fuel, we know how much energy is in a gallon of fuel.
That is
You are,
really good.
because of the efficiency that Tesla pointed out in these engines,
Yeah.
we are doing 140. And if you start driving, at the moment, may I be so rude, you're not driving very gently, which is fine, you're having a bit of fun. But after a while, you get better on the accelerator. When you put your foot down, you're using power.
Yeah.
When you want to slow down the lights, if you lift off
But well before you get
and
there.
regenerate
Yeah.
more, you can get that up to about 200 miles to the
You're
gallon.
kidding? Can
Yeah.
you that much? I was
Yeah.
thinking you were going to say about 150
No,
or
no,
something.
no,
Oh,
we-
right, a lot more.
We
Right.
can once you get the hang of it, you
Yeah.
can do 200 miles to the gallon.